What's up, guys? Welcome back to Houston Productions. The 95th Oscars is just days away, so I think it's time that we finally sit down and we talk about the 10 Best Picture nominees. I'm going to go ahead and rank them for you based off of my reviews, what I think, and my opinions. So whether you agree, disagree, let's drop a comment down below and talk about it. But here we go. Let's jump into my ranking of this year's Best Pictures at the 95th Oscars. And my 10th movie on this list, so 10 nominees, and my 10th ranked movie of this year is none other than Women Talking. This movie, written directed by Sarah Polley, is pretty simple. It's more or less a very slow burn type of movie that if you don't necessarily like what they're discussing, you're not going to enjoy this one too much. The plotline, do nothing, stay and fight, or leave. In 2010, the women of an isolated religious community grapple with reconciling a brutal reality with their faith. Now, like I said, if you enjoy these kinds of talking head types of movies, and you have to really be interested in the subject matter. If it's something you could relate to, if it's something that you are passionate about, then you will enjoy this movie. If not, you're going to find this one a little lacking. You're going to find it kind of slow, and that's how I found it, and that's why it's currently sitting at number 10 for me. And moving down to my 9th place movie, I'm talking about the Ruben Östlund Triangle of Sadness. Now, when a fashion model celebrity couple join an eventful cruise for the super rich, things don't go quite as planned. Now, this is a very much one of those eat the rich kind of movies where it's all about, the working class versus the rich class and what you really do, what is money worth, and does money overall make you a better person than other people, and what do you do with the money whenever you have it? Overall, this sounds like it could be an interesting plot, but I did find this one a little slow as well, which is why it is ranked as my number 9 movie, which is kind of surprising. I typically enjoy Woody Harrelson performances, and this just, to me, it just didn't seem to be one of his best. I see why the Academy really enjoys this movie, but not quite something for me. But go ahead and check this one out if you haven't done so already. And moving right into my number 8 movie of the year, which is the Edward Berger directed movie All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, this is a typical war movie. This is a remake of a very classic war movie, and it is told from a different perspective, which is interesting. This movie looks great, it sounds great, the cinematography is amazing. It is a foreign film, so be prepared for that, but other than that, I think that this is kind of, yet again, another slow burn kind of movie. There were a lot of movies this year that you can tell the Academy really enjoyed just sitting down and having like that thought-provoking type of feeling when they left. But then again, there's also the type of movies that were nominated this year, which is the sheer exciting blockbuster. But All Quiet on the Western Front is going to bring right at my number 8, which isn't bad. I definitely enjoyed sitting down and watching it. I just don't know if I'm going to return to it again. And that's going to bring us into my 7th ranked movie of the 10 nominees this year at the 95th Oscars. And it's going to be none other than the Baz Luhrmann directed Elvis. Now, I know a lot of people really enjoyed this movie. It is the, biopic of Elvis Presley as told through the eyes of his manager. And that's where I feel like it really lost me. I enjoyed Tom Hanks, but I think this was a big misstep. The accent was a little weird. I wanted to learn more about certain aspects of Elvis. And I feel like they rushed and didn't provide us a lot of detail on the things they should have given us details on. This is a great movie just to sit down and watch if you're an Elvis fan, if you just want a good popcorn flick. But if you're looking for an acting class and really to learn a lot of info about Elvis other than you should hate his manager, I think that you're going to find this one a little lacking. It is one of the weaker biopics that's come out here recently, but I do think that Austin Butler does have a pretty good shot of winning that Best Actor nomination if he can beat out Colin Farrell and one of the other movies nominated for Best Picture. But definitely check out Elvis, which you can find on HBO Max currently, so give it a shot if you haven't seen it yet. And this is going to bring me into my number 6th ranked movie, and it is none other than the James Cameron written and directed epic of the year, Avatar 2: The Way of Water. Yeah, I don't think we really have to go over too much about this one. I mean, you've probably seen it, if not seen it multiple times. It has already grossed over $2 billion worldwide as far as revenue, which means that we are definitely going to finish out the trilogy for sure, and possibly get that another one afterward as well. But yes, we're sitting back, on the planet of Pandora, and we're going from the very land-based culture to a more water-based culture. And I think that I don't want to tell you too much about this one because half of the enjoyment is kind of getting lost in the world and being introduced into it. So I'm not want to give too many plot points on this, but definitely check this one out. And if you can, and you know that you still can because it's going to be in theaters for a little while longer, go see it in theaters. That is how this movie is going to best be enjoyed. I definitely recommend that. It's going to still be pretty decent going, being able to stream it at home, but it's not going to have the same impact. So definitely check this one out in theaters if you get the chance. And this is going to bring me into my number 5 ranked movie. And I honestly thought this was going to be one that was going to win Best Picture whenever I first saw it, and it just hasn't lived up to that. I'm talking about Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. Now, this is more or less a little bit of a biopic about Steven Spielberg and what inspired him to pick up a camera after he discovers a little bit of a secret that is going on in his family. It is an interesting story. I definitely think that Paul Dano definitely should have been nominated for something. He absolutely kills it as the father in this movie. But overall, this is a little bit of a slower movie, and I can definitely see why it didn't get the love that it should have gotten. It had a very short theatrical run. It is not in any streaming service, and you can only rent or buy it currently, which is a little bit of a commitment for something that you don't know if you're going to enjoy. So I feel like they kind of misplayed their Oscar campaign on this one. But if you watch this movie, the last cameo and the final scenes are well worth getting to. I definitely recommend this one. It is one of my favorite movies of the past year. I just wish that it kind of... it just missed a little something. They think it kind of feels like they're resting on the fact that it was a Steven Spielberg movie, and it could have been a little bit better. And this is going to bring me into my number 4 overall pick, and I'm talking about the Todd Field written and directed movie, Tar. Now, this movie stars Cate Blanchett, who is most likely going to end up winning Best Actress, and she absolutely deserves it. This movie feels like a biopic when it is completely fictionalized. We follow the life and the career and the success and ambition of Lydia Tarr, played by Cate Blanchett, but this kind of gives me a little bit of that Black Swan kind of vibes. I don't know, I've seen this movie a couple times, and for some reason I always get that a little bit of a feeling of like how I got from Black Swan. It's not quite the level of psychological thriller that movie is, but the scenes, the close-ups, the angles, the cuts, they all kind of remind me a little bit of that movie. So if you enjoy Black Swan, in my opinion, you'll probably enjoy Tar. So definitely check this one out. It's streaming on Peacock. And this is going to bring me into my number 3 ranked movie of the year. And I think this is probably one of the more exciting movies of the year. And in fact, it was so exciting that they wanted to make sure that they held on to it through the pandemic. And of course, I'm talking about Top Gun Maverick. Now, I don't think that this one needs too much of a plot explanation or anything like that. You have seen this one most likely. You know what Top Gun was. And whether you hate it or you loved it, it was a decent movie. The cinematography, the acting was pretty good. Miles Teller is definitely going to be one of our next generation's great movie stars. And of course, there's Tom Cruise doing his own stunts, including flying a lot of these planes. Overall, it's a great, exciting popcorn flick. I definitely see why they held on to this one because this is the type of movie that is best seen in a movie theater or with a great sound system. So if you have not seen Top Gun Maverick, definitely check it out. It's currently streaming on Paramount+. And this is going to bring me to my number 2 ranked movie of the year. And yet again, I kind of felt like this one was going to win up until a couple weeks ago where something kind of happened. But I'm talking about the Martin McDonagh Banshees of Inisherin, which is streaming on HBO Max. Now, when 2 lifelong friends find themselves at an impasse when one currently abruptly ends their relationship with alarming consequences for the both of them, Colin Farrell kills it, and I still think that he might edge out Austin Butler for this Best Actor, and I think he well deserves it. This is a slower burn type movie, but I think for a movie that more or less centers on the countryside, with it being a period piece with just, 1-2 room shacks, countryside, oceans, and then just taking its time. I thought this was a great movie. I think that all the acting was exceptional to the point that all of the main cast is nominated for acting awards. And that alone should tell you that this movie is at least well acted. The cinematography is great, the storyline is interesting, and it's got a miniature donkey. What more do you want in a movie, guys? Definitely check out the Banshees of Inisherin, which, like I said, is streaming on HBO Max. And this is going to bring me to my number 1 ranked movie, and the movie that I think is going to walk away with the Best Picture. Yeah, it's the only one left. I think you know what it is because it's basically won every award so far. I'm talking about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Now, when a middle-aged Chinese immigrant is swept up into an insane adventure in which she alone can save existence by exploring other universes and connecting with the lives she could have led. Yeah, she's got to do the multiverse type of thing. And this is what Marvel should have paid attention to. This was the multiverse sagas that we wanted to have, but instead we got things like Ant-Man, we got things like Doctor Strange. This movie is funny, it's well acted, has great action sequences, the camera movement is amazing, and I think that overall it's earned every single award that it's won, and I think that it's definitely going to end up raking up quite a few more Oscars too. I definitely think that this is going to be the best picture that is going to walk away with that #1 Oscar this year, and it is already the most awarded film to this point, and it's just going to continue to open up that gap a little bit more in my eyes. If you haven't seen this one, definitely check it out. It's currently streaming on Showtime. It is a little bit of that anime kind of kung fu kind of style at certain aspects, so be ready for what you're getting into. But this movie is fantastic. I think this movie will surprise a lot of people. It really wasn't something that I was highly anticipating. I kind of forced myself to sit down and watch it, and I am really glad that I did. So definitely take the time to check this one out if you haven't done so already. But there we got it, guys. That is my 10 Oscar nominees that I think I'm going to be ranking. Well, you know, I already did rank them. But I think this is how they're going to kind of fall, in my opinion. I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once is definitely going to win overall Best Picture. But I definitely think that Banshees may surprise us a little bit, and if the Academy wants to go bold, and I mean real bold, they'll give it to Top Gun. Because according to Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise saved movie business. So, let me know down in the comments. What do you think? What is going to win Best Picture? What was your favorite movie of the year? Was there a movie that you feel should have been nominated that was left off? Were you thinking that The Batman should have been up here? Were you thinking The Whale should have been up here? Let me know down in the comment section. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed. Watch another video while you're here. And my name is Lucas here at Houston Productions, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy watching.